Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Dsgnsbyrc, and today I'm bringing you guys a quick tutorial on how to do photo retouch on your sports images. So let's get straight to it. What you first are going to want to do is go ahead and cut your player out. A quick and easy fast way to do this is just to go to the selection thing, or you can go up here to the select and just go select subject. But I just like going here and go and select subject. So click select subject. The AI does a good job of selecting your player. You can go back in if you miss any spots, like down here, as you can see, it missed some spots, and we're gonna go ahead and clean that up. And apart from that, that is pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Press Command J to cut him out. And for the first part of this retouch, what you're going to want to go ahead and do is go to filter, camera raw filter, and before you touch any of these settings right here, what I first do is I go to profile up here, go to color, browse, go to your modern filters and scroll through these filters and just choose whichever one you prefer the most for your specific image. It's gonna vary between your image. All these could look different in a lot of different images, so just choose the one you think is the best for your image. And for me, I'm gonna go ahead and choose modern 7, and you can lower down the intensity right here, but for me, I'm gonna just keep it at 100. Okay, so next we're gonna want to go ahead and mess with all of these right here, and texture and clarity and some vibrance. I personally do not touch dehaze or saturation or temperature or tint. So just mess around with these settings and just play around with them and just see what looks best to you. Once you have your settings chosen, you could go and use some sharpening. I personally do not use too much sharpening because then it just gives the picture just like a lot of noise, and I don't like that. So I don't use too much sharpening. I really just mess around with texture and clarity to make it look good. And if you want to mess around with the skin tone of your player, you can go to color mixer and either mess around with the oranges or yellows. These are the skin tone sliders. And yeah, I'm gonna mess with orange just a little bit just to make his skin pop a little more. And that should be it for camera raw filter. If you wanted to, you could leave it like this and just use your cutout like this. As you can see, it does make a big difference using camera raw filter, but we're gonna make it look even better with shadows and some highlights. So for your shadows, you're gonna go to this half circle down here, go to your exposure, lower down to exposure, not too much, maybe around -2 seems it's pretty decent. Click it to your player by clicking option and left clicking, and that should be clicked to your player. And now to invert the mask so you'll be able to paint in your shadows, you just press Command I or Control I, and now you're gonna use it for your brush. You just choose whatever size is best for you. Go to hardness all the way down, and I keep my flow around 10. 10 is a pretty good flow. And for your shadows, what I do is, as you can see on the jersey and on the pants, the creases have like these dark sides to them. These parts right here, as you can see where my mouse is at. These dark parts, I'm gonna make them even darker, and where his muscles are at, you're gonna want to give them more definition with your brush. So just paint over the places that you think are the best for shadows, and make sure you don't overdo it, because then it just looks too dark. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a little time lapse so y'all can see where I paint. And yeah. as I said before, you can add shadows to the muscles to give it more definition, especially with these NBA pictures where the players are wearing tank tops. You can see a lot of their shoulders and their arms, and you could go ahead and make them more defined. So for example, right here on the shoulder, you would just paint right here just to make his shoulder pop out even more than it already is. Just paint in with your shadows, and then in a little bit you will also paint in over with your highlights to make it look even more 3D, like more defined. And if you overdo it, you can just erase it. And yeah. Okay, so now that you're done with your shadows, you're gonna go ahead and add your highlights. So go back to the half circle, do another layer of exposure, clip it to your player, and then this one I regularly do around 140, because if above that it just looks too bright and it just makes it look a little weird. Again, just press Command I to invert it. And with highlights, you're just trying to contrast between where the shadows are at. So like where you painted your shadows, you're gonna go ahead and go over with your highlights, so make them pop even more. Make your shadows pop more. Like right here, I painted like under this crease, under all these creases I painted in. And if you paint over, it just makes the whole shadow just pop even more, and it just makes the whole thing look overall better. Same thing with your with the muscles. So as you can see, I'm gonna go ahead and delete some of this because this looks a little weird. But yeah, so I use a little bit of bigger brush and then just paint right here, and it just makes the muscle just look more 3D. Makes him just look more defined. Same thing right here where his tricep is at. It just makes everything just look more defined if you contrast in between the shadows and the highlights. You're gonna want to go ahead and do that for pretty much everywhere you painted your shadows. Just go over top or like around it with your highlights. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do another time lapse so I can see where I painted, and to not make the video too long. Okay, so now I'm done with the shadows. I mean, as you can see, this is before and after. Without the highlights, this is before the highlights, and after the highlights. It just makes everything just pop a lot more. Makes the shadows just contrast a lot more. It just makes everything just look so much better. And that is going to be it for the highlights and shadows. You know, this is an easy one. This is a quick one that you can do in like 15 minutes. Pretty easy, pretty quick. For the next part, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in a group. I like keeping a separate one just in case, so I keep it in the group, and then I copy the group and merge the group to have another layer of the player, and then I go ahead and go to camera raw filter, and then you can add another filter if you want to. For this one, I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna add modern 10. I think that looks really good. And then for this, I'm just gonna mess around with the highlights a little bit and with the shadows. I'm gonna bring on the shadows, bring up the highlights, exposure, bring it down just a tad bit, and bring up the clarity a little bit and the textures a little bit. Bring on the vibrance to around -5. Yeah, that should be it. So this is just with the highlights and the first camera raw filter, and then this is with everything combined. The first camera raw, the highlights, and then the second camera raw filter. So yeah guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. This is a quick one. This is an easy one you could do. Very simple, very easy. Yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something from this video. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, go down to the description, follow me on my Instagram. That's where I post a lot of my designs, everything I do. You can stay updated with what I do. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you guys for watching again, and yeah, have a blessed day, guys. Thank you.